Good morning, good afternoon, good night. How are you? In today's video, I'll be sharing how I make macaroni pie. These are the ingredients I'm using: Italian seasoning, oregano, thyme. I put them all in this little container right here. Now to my pot of boiling water, I'm adding my pasta. I'm using elbow macaroni. I usually measure my macaroni when I'm making macaroni pie. So I'm using 3 of this cup of macaroni. And you gotta make sure when you add the macaroni to the pot that the water has begun to boil. You don't add it to cold water. Now I give it a stir. After adding the macaroni to the pot, give it a stir and let it come to a boil. Now it's time to cut up these things. This is hot pepper, onion, green onion, and red bell pepper. Now it's time to grate the cheese. I'm using the food processor to grate the cheese. But if you don't, you can use a grater and grate the cheese. If you don't have a food processor, use a grater and grate the cheese. Now my macaroni is cooked. I'm adding salt. When I'm making macaroni pie, I usually add the salt after my pasta is cooked. But you can add the salt to the pasta while it's cooking. But you know, everybody do things differently, and I am one. Now I'm adding the seasoning, the onion and green pepper and red pepper. I add them to the pasta. Here I have mustard, dry mustard. This is a must when making macaroni pie. You will want to use some mustard. I'm using 1.5 teaspoon of mustard. This is a half teaspoon I'm using, and I always measure the mustard, and this is how I measure it, just like this. It's time to stir it up. Time to add the cheese. And this is this is cheddar cheese I'm using. I have cheddar cheese and I have mozzarella cheese. And this is the sliced cheese I'm using. I like to use the sliced cheese when making my pie. To me, it kind of make it a little creamy. I just like to add sliced cheese to it. If you want, you can add the sliced cheese. If you don't want, don't add the sliced cheese. And this is how you do it. You take it out of the wrapper and then you just break it and you add it to the pasta. Now, let's have some fun mixing this thing up. But before, I'm adding paprika. Yes, this is paprika. I add a little paprika. So when you're making this, add a little paprika. But if you don't like paprika, don't add it. This is margarine. Yes, I add margarine to my macaroni pie. Just a little, like a spoon, that is. You don't need to add a whole lot. Now, we can finally begin to stir this thing up together. So let's start. Let's give it a stir, mix it up like this. Now the macaroni is warm, so you don't have to worry about it. It's a cheese, it will melt. Look at it. This is how it look. You see that? It is creamy. See how it look? This is how you want your macaroni to look. Now it's time to add the milk. I'm using whole milk. You may not have whole milk. You can use evaporated milk. You can mix the evaporated milk with water. Now after adding the milk, you give it a little stir again. You just stir it up again. Just so you can see how it look. And I did not put a lot of milk in it. You don't need a lot of milk in there. Yes, I love to add stuff to it. This is chive. I add the chive to it. Sometimes I add parsley. Sometimes I add chive. You don't need to do this step. You don't need to add the chive. And if you don't have oregano and thyme, and you don't have Italian seasoning, don't worry about it. Just make it without it. Just put green seasoning. If you have green seasoning, that is fine to just add the green seasoning. I just like when I make it this way because it tastes really, really good. So, and I love my herbs, so I just include them in what I am cooking. Now, I did not grease the pan. I just put some milk. You see, I put some milk in my baking dish and I spread it around just like this. There's no need for you to grease your baking dish. Now the macaroni mixture is going in. See how it look? I want to make sure I get every little bit of it, so I'm scraping every little bit of it out into my baking dish. Now I spread it like this. This is what you would want to do with this pan. Just spread it like this with the spoon, the back of the spoon. Now I know how it seems. It seems like if it's difficult, it's not difficult. It's probably the way how I make it and the way how I flame it. So it might look hard, but it's really not hard at all. And I know that you can do this. Now I'm adding some milk. Yes, I am adding more milk to it. This milk is to cook it. And let me show you the amount of milk I add. You see? This is how it looks. Just a little milk just to cook it. It's not that much milk. Don't need a whole lot of milk. You see? There you go. So you see there's milk all over the dish. So I do hope that you understand. Now I spread it again like this. And it is just this simple, this easy. And then I put some more grated cheese on top of it. So after you add the milk, you will want to put some more grated cheese on top of it. And if you feel like it, you may want to sprinkle some chive or some parsley and put it in the oven. you can skip that part. There you go. With the magic of editing, it didn't take long, did it? So here it is. This is it. This is the macaroni pie. This is what it looks like, and it is tasty, so tasty. So I hope that you enjoy the video. There it is. Cutting another slice. There it is. So here is where I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for clicking. Until the next video, bye.